Welcome to the notes on trapezoids and kites. Okay, so we're still learning about quadrilaterals, but these are actually not parallelograms. Why not? Well, because what is a trapezoid? A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one set of parallel sides. Okay, remember, parallelogram has to have both sets of opposite sides. Okay, we call this side, we call the parallel side the base. All right, the bases are the parallel sides. And then what do we call the other side? Well, we call the other two sides the legs. So this is a leg, and that is a leg of a trapezoid. Okay, so now what trapezoids are we working with mostly? Isosceles trapezoids. So what does it mean to be an isosceles trapezoid? Well, an isosceles trapezoid, just like an isosceles triangle, has congruent legs. Well, then if the legs are congruent, okay, those base angles are congruent. Okay, so base angles are, this set of base angles congruent, and then you're also going to know that this set of top angles is also going to be congruent. All right, we call those the base angles on top as well. So each set of angles is going to be congruent. Now, the part that you have to remember is top and bottom. All right, these will add to 180. All right, or they're going to be supplementary. So keep that in mind. Not only will each set be congruent, but then the top and bottom will add to 180. Now, the other property that you need to know about trapezoids is their diagonals are going to be congruent. They don't bisect, but diagonals congruent, or they're going to be equal to each other. So those are our property of trapezoids. Let's get into some quick examples. If PQRS is an isosceles trapezoid, so it tells me it's an isosceles trapezoid. Again, ask yourself, what shape are we dealing with? Find angle PQ and R. Well, angle P. Okay, angle P is on the same side of angle S, so it's going to be 180 minus 50. So I know that angle P is going to be 30 degrees. Well, since that's 30 degrees, I know Q is going to be 30 degrees because, again, same side base angles are going to be congruent. And then since that is 50, I know that, that this is going to be 130. I made a mistake here. This is going to be 130. And since, again, that's 50, that's got to be 50. You can see that all four add up to 360. So sorry for the quick mistake there. All right, there's properties of trapezoids. Now we're talking about mid-segment of a trapezoid. And basically what you need to remember here is AB. If I double two ABs, if I double it, that's going to equal PQ plus SR. So that's kind of the property. Now, some people say half of this equals the mid-segment, but I don't like the fractions. I don't think you guys do either. So how are we going to solve these problems? Well, here's a mid-segment. We know that two of those, so I'm going to say 2 times 12 is going to equal 14 plus x. Okay, so that's going to be 2 times 12 is 24, equals 14 plus x. Subtract 14 from each side. So then I know that x is going to equal 24 minus 14 is 10. There's my answer here. Now, this problem over here just involves a little more algebra. So I'm going to do this. Again, we're going to double the mid-segment. So I'm going to say 2 times 3x, all right, is going to equal x plus 3 plus, which is this piece. I'll do that in red. This piece plus 12. So there's my plus 12. And then I just solved it like an algebra problem. 2 times 3x is 6x. Equals, now I got the x, and then I combine the 3 and the 12, so that's 15. So that's 3 plus 12 equals 15. All right, subtract x from each side, minus x, minus x. So I'm going to get 5x equals 15. So I know I'm going to divide each side by 5. Divide each side by 5. So x is going to equal 3. There's how you do mid-segment. Double it equals the sum of the other the parallel sides. Okay, last thing, kites. All right, what is a kite? It has two pairs of consecutive congruent sides. So consecutive, there's one set. Here is the second set right there. All right, there's no opposite sides congruent. That's why, again, it's not a parallelogram. So what do you need to know about a kite? Well, first thing I want to show you guys is, I'll get a new color here. I want to show you that the diagonals bisect the opposite angles. So diagonals bisect the angles. All right, that's going to be really important. I'm just going to abbreviate there. Then here's two other properties. The diagonals, all right, are also perpendicular. So not only do they bisect, which they show here, they also form a 90. It's going to be key because we're going to use a lot of Pythagorean theorem. And then finally, if it is a kite, then what I like to say, that these two angles, angle B and angle D, will be congruent. I like to say it's where the two non-congruent sides meet. So here's my 2, here's my 1. Where the angle they form, that angle will always be congruent to the angle across from it right down here. So let's do a quick example with kites. It tells us right here, KLMN is a kite. What are the measures of angle 1, 2, and 3? Well, let's do angle 1. Angle 1 is right here. Well, the diagonals form 90-degree angles. So measure of angle 1, all right, equals 90 degrees. That's pretty easy. All right, now let's find angle 2. Okay, well, angle 2 is right here. Since that's 90, I know this is 90. And I can't really find 2 yet until I find 3 because, remember, the diagonals bisect the angle. So if this is 36 right here, well, that means angle 3's got to be 36. So I'll say measure of angle 3 is going to be 36 degrees. Well, how am I going to find measure of angle 2? Well, I've got a triangle right here. You can see this triangle right here. I know this is 90. I know this is 36. I'm not sure what that is. Well, hey, again, to find angle 2, I can just take 180 minus 90 minus 36. So 90 minus 36 is going to be 54. So that is going to be 54 degrees. And there you have your properties of trapezoids and kites.